This is a review of getting images into Photoshop from your digital camera. What I'm showing here is a page of images taken and off of the camera and taking the images into iPhoto. If you have a PC or some other way of storing your photos, they're still going to come in with as JPEG images, and you're going to have a number assigned, image a number assigned by the camera itself. And then you see these things raw in these small forms or thumbnails, and you work them into whatever you're going to use to bring them into Photoshop. From there, they can be made into prints, they can be made into website information, they can be made into something you're going to send out for photo processing, coming back in the form of a book or a calendar or just prints or posters, whatever. So here is a series of shots taken of a seacoast housing place on some rocks. And which one you're going to use. Maybe there are several that you are really trying to decide on. Maybe you say there's only one, whatever. Now, as I look through these, I'm looking for the dramatic water to the beach, water on the rocks, the amount of house versus rock and cliffs, and different angles and shots up and down, in and out. When you go to a place and shoot, you're really ought to shoot 12, 15, 20, 30 images, up, down, walk up the stairs, go down the beach, whatever it's going to be, until giving you then a lot of shots that are dramatic. This one right here is kind of dramatic. You're looking not so much at the houses and cliffs that are there, but the waves storming through here. And that may fit your bill, what you're looking for, fit your needs. I'm looking at this one up here in the upper left. It's got good wave action. It's got a good shot of the houses and the distant horizon. So I'm gonna take that one and process it through. So I'm gonna select it, and in Photoshop, in iPhoto on my iMac, it's selected by this golden frame, and then I'm going to say File, Export. That means it's going to export it out of the iPhoto environment onto my desktop. And I say Export, and at that point it says it's a JPEG because that's the way it was taken on the camera, so it's compressed. I could change that back to original or a PNG, a TIFF, depending on where I'm going to take this. I'm going to leave it as JPEG for now and hit export. And at that point it says, do you want to give it a name? I'm going to give it a name of just Cove. Now, that might be Cove_1 if I've got 2 or 3 that I'm working with. But I try to keep my names simple and rememberable. So it's going to go to the desktop, and I hit OK. And notice it shows up over here now on my desktop as the Cove1 JPEG. All right, so that's my starting point. I could have taken more images here and blown them up to make closer comparisons, but for time saving, I'm going to drag this JPEG then down over my Photoshop document or program, and it's going to open up in Photoshop. However you open them up off your desktop, it's there. Now notice the ruler, it's huge. It's 48 inches by 30 something. That's because my camera, it's a good Canon camera with a good lens. It opens up and says, here's a very big picture, so you get a good resolution. However, I am going to go to image and image size, and I'm going to bring it down to the width of that 7 inches again. It's big enough. I could go 10 or 12 perhaps, depending on where I'm going to put this. What's the end result? Is it a medium-sized print, a large print? If it's a larger print, I might go, in the 8 by 10, 8 by 12 range. But for now, I'm just going to go with 7. And the height became similar because they're locked together here, and the resolution at 72, because of that JPEG early format compression, I'm going to go 400. And when I hit that now, it's a lot smaller. It's 7 inches by something over 4. It's 15 megabytes. You can see that here, so it's not as big as it used to be. I didn't look to see what it was, but it's just not as big. Now, this is an interesting thing about the picture itself. It's a little dark. You can see it's cloudy, and so I'm going to add a little light to it. Image adjusts and levels. And take my midtones a little lighter. I can't overexpose it, or it looks kind of overexposed. But I'm going to take them just a little touch lighter so I can see more details down on these rocks. I might take the highlights and lighten them just a bit, but I'm going to have to accept the fact that on the day I took this picture, it was overcast, and that's okay because that's part of the nomenclature of this scene. There's another thing that's always interesting with a shot like this. I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to get a guideline out of the upper ruler. I'll bring it down and lay it right here on the horizon. Notice what's happening on the horizon. The horizon is rising, and it's going up. The camera angle, especially at a sea shot, where you see that horizon, you might not be exactly aware of, oh, I've got the camera tilted just a little bit. So I'm going to fix that by taking my layer here is background, which means it's locked. Click, click, and I'm going to just put beach or cove or whatever I'm going to call this. And now it has the points around the box here that I can control with it. Now notice here right in the middle, there's that little tiny target. I'm going to click on that and bring it right here to that distant point where the sea meets the land, right there. And that's going to now rotate from that. So when I turn my bounding box, which is showing the whole picture, when I click on that right there, and I come up here to this corner now, I get, that's a diagonal move, that's a turn move. See that turning arrow? That will turn it. This will make it go up and down, in and out. This is a diagonal move, but I want the turning one, and I'm going to rotate that until the distant sea horizon is level with that level I brought down, about like that. So now I've actually tilted it so that that's level. Do you do that all the time? I generally look for that to see if it's going to work out for me, and I let it work. You do have, some picture kick up here. There's a couple of ways of fixing that. You can come in here with your cloning tool and take sand and replace it, or you can say, I'm going to get a scale. Here's my scaling tool. Click, click, and it is right now 4 by 4.5. I want my width to remain at 7 wide, and I want my height to be 5. 5 by 7 is a good format. So I'm still at 400. All right, now I take that, and I'm going to come in here, and I have to cut a new thing inside of what I can see here. I'm going to start driving it down there and click and drag and make my window. It's going to be a 5 by 7 ratio no matter what I do, because I've asked for 5 by 7. And when I come up here, I'm just out of the sky there. I'm there. I'm going to lose some ocean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it like that, maybe a little smaller here, and then drag this out so I'm going to gain more ocean. I'm losing a little house space up there, but I'm going to gain some ocean. Maybe I pull it a little further out here to gain more ocean. Okay, so this housing part over here that I'm losing isn't all that bad, and I've got the houses here perched on and I've got the beach, and I've got everything, and I've got a level ocean view out there. One thing I'm going to, there's a guy walking, hard to see that there, he's walking down these stairs. I could go back and take him out with my cloning tool, but he's going to be cropped now. So having done that with my scaling tool, I click back here on the move tool, and it says, do you want to crop this image to what you've shown? And I say yes, crop. Okay, so there's my new picture, and I'm going to save that. File, save as, and I could actually say Cove 2, change the 1 to a 2, in case I wanted to save that other one and with its crooked horizon line or whatever. It's always good to save it to not. I'm going to take my guideline out of there now and put it back in the ruler. And there I am with my seashore with this level horizon line. That's not all that important in every picture, but it is here, and I thought I'd mention it. Now, I have done my highlights and my tones. I could, images, I've already worked my levels. Let's work with the color balance. And the color balance, it gives me this box that shows cyan and red, magenta, green, yellow, blue. Let's see, well, what if I add a little more yellow? Does that warm it up a little bit? Yes. What if I add a little more red? That gives it more richer, deeper colors. And this is a terminology that you have to go with your eyes and your brain and fix out what you want it to be. You say, well, what happened if a little more bluer? I come back down here and make it darker blue. That just darkens everything. I like where I was before. Not too much yellow or too much red, but enough to get it to be a little more interesting, and you're using your artistic touch here. So I okay that. Now I've got the picture as I'm going to use it for whatever purpose in my scrapbook or my Christmas card or anything I'm going to put this in. And I can go back and say, there's some things I want to clean up, like maybe I want these windows to be a little more modern. I can go find some windows in other pictures and other buildings and cut them out and actually put them in here. I'm not going to take the time to do that now, but I could put much more fancier pane glass windows up in there. There might be a person standing on the balcony, and I would take him out. It'd be hard with all this little thin wrought iron work going on there. Or I could add things to this. Now, right now I have beach, and I don't have anything added, but I can say, I'm going to find a picture of an old airplane. There's the Pan Am Clipper, and it's cut out. Even the transparent propeller tips are showing here. Now, this has been previously cut out. You can see all the cutouts gone because it's, there's the orange background and there's the thing. So I've got Clipper selected here. I take my magic wand tool and I click in the negative space, but notice it didn't pick up here and here and inside the propellers. So I go to select and I say, give me similar, not similar layers, but just similar. And it's picked up all the inside little pieces that are there, but it's attracted all the negative space, the positive space. See, all this is out here is the negative space. You can see the negative space showing up by the marching ants around the border. So now I say to my select inverse, and all the positive space is selected instead of the negative. There it is. Now I hit Command C, that copies it to the clipboard. I go back to my Cove 2 picture. It's up here in the things that I have already opened up. And here in layer 1, I'm going to paste that plane. Command V as in Victor. And I OK that, and it puts the plane in. Now, one thing I notice is the plane is too big. So I'm going to take my shift key down and take the corner and proportionately make it much smaller. Like it was flying over the beach or coming up the beach. And I apply that because I've reduced it, and I can replace it and just put it out here someplace flying over the beach. It's kind of a sunny day plane picture, and it's not a sunny day, so there's a couple of things I can do about that. One, on this layer, and I'm going to retitle this Clipper because it's a Clipper seaplane, and I can say, let's go here to the opacity and take the opacity down. See what that does? It puts it further in the distance, a little more atmosphere, and it's not quite as bright, shiny blue and silver. I could even go to the image, because only this layer, image adjust levels, and I could darken it by taking this middle tone and going a little darker. Don't want to get too dark, but I want to match what's going on out there with the atmosphere. So you can work to that degree. You can say, I'll put another layer up here and say, maybe we'll get another airplane. How about the Spirit of St. Louis? Again, outside, click on all the negative space. There's a few inside spaces that I didn't get, so I go to select similar, and now I've got all the negative space selected. I go to select inverse, and it's all the positive space. Command C, it puts this plane on the clipboard. I go back to my Cove 2, and then layer 2 here, I'm going to put St. Louis. Let's spear it up, that's Lindbergh explained, and put him in there, Command V, and OK that. Again, he's a little large, so I'm going to come to the corner and hold down, get the diagonal arrow, hold down the Shift key so it reduces proportionately, and puts him a little smaller. And I OK that and say apply, and then I put that out here and say he's just flying over the top. Now he's a little bright, so again I'm going to go to the opacity and pull it down a little bit. Not that he disappears or makes a ghost out of it per se, but just atmosphere it up a little bit. Now I also have to choose. I don't want both planes there, so do I want the St. Louis and take out the clipper, or do I want to take out the St. Louis and put the clipper back in? Don't know. I could maybe make this one's a little smaller. It's kind of large. Let's see. Go to St. Louis, bounding box, and bring him down a little bit more. You don't want to get him too small. You can't see the detail that you'd want to have in him. So either or, put that there. There's a lot of romance about the old clipper plane that flew around the oceans of the world before there were jet aircraft. Passenger planes of the Spirit of St. Louis. Actually, he's going the wrong way. If he's going to France, he's heading for Japan. But either or. Now let's say, okay, I'm going to keep the clipper plane, but I can add something else of interest here just to make this picture a little more exciting, and depending on how you want to work the story. I've got a picture here of Venice, Italy. And they have a number of masked balls where people get very fancy costumes and masks and go to the ball. And so I have this lady here that's all decked out, ready to go. I'm going to take my magic wand, click on the other outside of it. There's some inside spaces I didn't get, so I'm going to go to select similar. And I got the inside negative space and select inverse, and I get the positive space to not include all these little pieces of the feather that are behind there. Command C copies it to the clipboard, cuts away everything else that was on the clipboard. This only holds one picture at a time. Go back to the Cove 2 and make a new layer that says mask, because I want to identify my layers. So I'm not looking at layer 1, 2, and 3 and trying to forget what it is. And then put it on there, Command V, and OK that move. Now she's a little large, so I'll bring her down in size. But now I'm going to leave her that large because I want her to be part of the picture here. I don't want her to cut out important details, but I can put her here in the picture, and maybe she's a little large there. She's still seeable, but I'll bring her down and put her in this space here where the house itself that's behind her, that bush and those windows aren't that dramatic. So I'm going to put her here as if she was standing on a rock or a cliff or some outside landing, patio or something. Where she was standing there for a picture taken. You can't see what she's standing on, but you can see the upper half of her. And that adds some mysterious mystique. I'm going to turn off the show transform control so the bounding boxes don't show. And that adds something to the whatever mystery you want to add to this. What is the plane? What is the lady? And this pretty beach scene that's all included. So here we have our original photograph, and then we've added 2 other images that have come either from a digital camera or other sources. Remember, you have one other source that we aren't showing here, but I can tell you it's the scanner, where you take your own photographs, hopefully in good focus and detail, and lay photographs, images on the scanner plate and close the lid and then do the scanning and make that a computer image that you bring over and cut out the background, do whatever you need to do, or work those till you have the picture in hand. So those are this is another review of how the digital camera becomes part of your subject matter.